Welcome to the Rewrite Your Story with Tasha Joe podcast, where we fearlessly dive into the vast realm of thoughts, ideas, and conversations that know no bounds. Buckle up and prepare for a wild ride as we venture into uncharted territories and explore the unexplored. On this journey, we leave no stone unturned and no topic untouched. Tune in, fasten your seatbelt, and prepare for a roller coaster ride through the vast expanse of human curiosity. Get ready to be amazed, enlightened, and entertained, because on this podcast, there's only one rule. There are no rules. Hello, beautiful friends. On today's episode, I have Althea here, and today's topic is going to be about Althea's personal healing journey. She is not only a cancer survivor, but she's also a shamanic Reiki master, yoga teacher, tarot oracle reader, suicide survivor. I mean, the list goes on and on. So welcome, Althea. We are so happy to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So yeah, we want to hear about your story.
Yeah, I'll start with the fact that I grew up Mormon.
Okay.
That's a very big part of my life because I felt very indoctrinated into that life and that idea. And I had a very specific role in life. And as soon as I started to stray off of that path, I had a whole bunch of people telling me, no, you're not doing this right. You're not, you have to do this. And I felt very trapped. And I think that's what led to my depression early in middle school. I've always had mental illness. I've always had bipolar disorder. It was the 90s though, and they didn't know much about it.
Yeah.
And so, I just kind of went through life in a fog and not really knowing the difference between hallucinations and between my spirit guides. That's not till later.
Yeah.
But early on, growing up Mormon, I very much did not feel like I fit. And it wasn't until my first suicide attempt, I was 16 years old. I had a boyfriend who was a part of the church and who had assaulted me and lied to all of the high school friends of mine and made me the bad guy. And so all of a sudden I was enemy number one in a very small town.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of skated through the rest of my high school career and early adulthood feeling really hopeless.
Carrying that trauma with you.
Yes. Yeah. And that cycle kind of continued into early adulthood. It wasn't really until I met my husband that it started to kind of slowly shatter.
Yeah.
Because I got really lucky there. He's the type of person to really just be like, hey, maybe there's something wrong.
That's me. Let's soon me. Investigator. Let's get to the root of the issue. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a Leo. He's very much a caretaker.
My man's a Leo too. I get it.
So he just very much wanted to fix things.
Yeah.
But it was when I was taking a yoga class and the yoga teacher was a shamanic Reiki practitioner. I didn't know what Reiki was. I didn't know what shamanism was. I was like, these are all big scary words because I'm just getting into yoga. And yoga is a scary word in Christianity,
Yeah.
So, I met Lori Ferry is her name. Wonderful person, dear friend of mine still. And that's really where my healing journey kicked off. This was 5 years ago, actually. So, see, now I'm losing.
And how old are you now?
I am 37.
37. Okay.
So my 20s were filled with a lot of that tumultuous and down. Again, having bipolar disorder, having these spiritual gifts that I didn't know I had, and just feeling the pull between both worlds, between, Western ideas and spiritual ideas, because I had people telling me like, oh, well, maybe you're not really sick. And I'm like, well, now I'm on my fourth suicide attempt. I've been married to my husband for a few years. He's been through quite a few with me.
Oh, wow.
I tell people I would not be here if it was not for my husband because he was the one that really pulled me out of that hole and literally got me to the hospital.
I got chills when you said that.
Yeah. So I had multiple attempts. And I was still feeling like really like I was hearing all these keywords, all these like, Reiki, Ayurvedic medicine, like all of
Yeah.
these like healing keywords that I'm like that I now do.
Yeah.
And it wasn't my spirit guides holding me back. It was my hallucinations holding me back. So I
Mm.
had to really discover the difference between the two.
Yeah.
So I really had to get myself well by going to therapy.
I bet that was a journey itself.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I say going to therapy is like going to a hairdresser, right? You can fire your doctors.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
absolutely, if you have a doctor who's not working with you, you can just be like, you know what? This isn't working for
Yep.
me. I'm going to go find a different one it's not that I wasn't hearing what they were saying to me. It's just like they weren't a good fit.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
need that
Yes.
in both like
Absolutely.
your spiritual healers and your doctors. It needs to be a good fit. And so yeah, it was a journey going through therapy, finding the right medication that worked for me. And then once I got that right is when I really leaned into shamanic Reiki. And that's when I felt like, okay, this is the time. I'm going to
Mhm.
lean into this. I'm going to follow in the footsteps of my dear mentor, and I'm going to become a yoga teacher.
I love that. Love it.
And so, yeah, I things were looking great. Things were looking up and things were looking, I'm like, finally, after so many years of trauma and so many years of trying to pry myself away from the church. I literally changed my name legally to separate myself from the church because they have my name, my dead name, in the
Yeah.
temple still. And so, yeah, I got myself on this really good path. A great husband who's just like, yeah, whatever you want to do. I quit my massage career of 10 years.
I did not
Um,
know that you were a massage therapist. Oh my
yeah,
goodness. Okay.
that was just like thrown in the mix
Yeah.
there,
Okay.
because like it made sense,
Yeah. Yeah.
and people were like, this is what you're good at, and this is what you should do, and duh, and you don't have kids, so you should be like a good,
Yeah.
like provider for your household. And
Yeah.
so that's what I did. And then when I was like, I'm going to be a yoga teacher, and I'm going to do Reiki. And people were like, what are you thinking? Like, what about this lucrative career? I was
Yeah.
like, that was killing my mind and my
Yes.
body.
Yes.
It wasn't a good fit for me. And so I graduated from yoga school in 2022, December 2022. And January 2023 was when I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer.
Mm.
And so I had not even gotten my feet wet
Yeah.
as a yoga teacher before I discovered I had cancer. And that really threw me through a loop because I had warnings. I had warnings. I had a Reiki session actually for my birthday before, and she had told me to actually like something's up
Mm.
with my third chakra. Something's up in that area. Like you need to look into that.
Yeah.
And I did. I went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, that's a little swollen. Like, maybe we should get an ultrasound. And so they did. They got the ultrasound. They did followed up with a biopsy. They came back, because nowadays they give you like the text. You have everything on the app.
Yeah.
And so as soon as I saw the word like malignant on there, I just, my heart, everything in me just shriveled. And I was like, "Huh, this is not the plan.
Yeah.
This is not the plan."
Yeah.
So I immediately woke up my husband. He was on graveyard shift at the time. And we just cried all night. We were just scared. And so, yeah, we took the night to grieve.
Mm-hmm.
And, because we didn't know. So, yeah, we just had to take that whole night because it was late when we got the notification. So we just had to sit with it until we heard from the doctors. And they called at like 8 o'clock the next day, like on the dots, because obviously
Yeah.
it's cancer. And so, yeah, it's a weird feeling. It's a weirder feeling when you have been in the throes of mental illness and you have had multiple attempts and things in my life were good. And so
You were changing your life around, doing the holistic
yeah.
healing, and then you get that news. Your life won't
what? Yeah. 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 Again, wasn't in the plan. This wasn't, I have been through too much trauma and too much hard things already. Like, I don't need this. And
Now, do you
that's,
understand it was all part of the plan?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's the whole point, right?
Because I look back, someone asked me the other day, and they were like, "Oh, how did they word it?" They're like, "How, oh, I bet it just changed your life." I said, "It changed everything. It
Yeah.
changed my life. It changed my business. It changed the way I look at things now. It changed the way I teach my yoga classes. Everything. I end all my yoga classes with time is precious. Thank you for spending your time with
Gratitude and
me
yeah,
because we don't know how much time we have left."
yeah.
And so, yeah, I spent the next 6 months undergoing treatment, doctor's appointments, scans. And then that's the thing they don't tell you about cancer is like afterwards, you have 3 month scans. And then if those are good, then it goes up to 6 month scans. Every time you get another scan, it's like, oh, is the cancer back? And it's another 3 weeks of waiting to find out if you have cancer.
So my question for you at this point is, at that time, you had just kind of started like the whole holistic healing approach. Were you aware at that time that we can heal ourselves?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So this is interesting. This is where I tell people this is where the convergence of the
Mm-hmm.
spiritual
Yep.
team and everything comes in. Okay. They were only going to remove half my thyroid
Mm.
originally. They saw a small lymph node on the other side and they're like, it's so small, we can't even biopsy it. Like, we're not even worried about it. Because remember, I only went into the doctor to get the
Yeah.
ultrasound because of my Reiki
Yeah.
practitioner. And so I just was not feeling good about it. I was not feeling good about their plan. I was just like, oh, we had surgery scheduled, and they're like, the sooner we get it done, the better because less chance of it spreading. And so I had to fight them.
Mm.
I had to say, because my spirit guides, holy cow, I've never heard them so loud before. They were just screaming at my in my
No.
ear, like, get the whole no, they wanted me to take the whole thing out.
Okay.
The whole thing out. There's like, get it out of there. Get it out there. It's literally poison in your body. Get it out. And I did. I fought for it. And they're like, okay, well, it's going to move it to May. Da, 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 da. And they did their thing. But
I bet that was really scary for you at that time because you're going against like what the doctors are telling you need. And then, oh, my spirit guides.
I can't tell them that.
Yeah,
I can't tell them
exactly.
like the whole reason why I want you to take the whole thing. It's just
Yeah.
like, oh, by the way, my grandma is here.
Yeah.
Like telling me to get the damn thing in.
Yeah.
Um,
They're going to be like, okay, we need to schedule her a different type of appointment.
right?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, remember, like, I've been that part of the
Yeah.
hospital, so it's like I really didn't want to end up back there
Yeah.
either. So, yeah, they took the whole thing out. They did a biopsy after the surgery. They always do. And there was cancer on both sides. And of course, I just wanted to rub it in their faces.
I know. Yeah. Ego.
But that was them protecting me.
Yeah.
And everything since then has healed tremendously well. Things that they didn't even think were going to heal have healed.
Yeah.
And it's all because I had this blockage that needed to come out. Everything in that throat, my throat chakra was so heavily influenced by my religious upbringing, by the trauma, multiple traumas from multiple people who, hurt me physically, emotionally. And yeah, so it just needed to come out.
I tell everyone that anything in the physical is a manifestation of energy. And whether it's trauma or, any disease or anything, it's built up and then it manifests into the physical. But a lot of people don't get that. And we do because of our own experiences. Yeah.
It had some people tell me that, like, oh, it's like past life stuff, it's karmic stuff, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't like that for myself.
Yeah.
If you want to believe that, sure. But for myself, I would like to think that I'm a decent enough person in this lifetime and hopefully past life.
Yeah.
I know as a healer in the past lifetime, but yeah, it definitely was something that needed to be moved, energy that needed to be moved, that the Western medicine was not going to move.
Yeah.
Unless I really was an advocate for myself.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to be in
100%.
in both Western medicine and when it comes to spiritual practices, because like I said, there are people who don't think I have bipolar disorder, who don't look at my lived experiences, my suicide survivor. They don't see that as a testament of my strength, of my will.
But have they gone through that experience?
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's usually people who haven't been through those experiences that like to project and give
Yeah.
their thoughts and opinions.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all part of this
Yeah.
gatekeeping
Yeah.
that happens in
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
and I'm just not for that. You
Mhm.
know, it's the way that's where my practice changed, right? It was after cancer. And then I ended up going to Guatemala for a month.
So awesome.
So cool. It was really cool.
I bet.
Got to work with a shaman one on one there. It was magical. And again, really changed my perspective of what community is and what it should look like, what is accessible to people. And so I came back from Guatemala and I just completely revamped my business, revamped my logo. I got someone to design a logo. So that's why it's the blue butterfly, blue
Okay.
for the
Yeah.
thyroid.
The throat chakra. Okay, that makes sense now.
I told her specifically it's got to be that sky blue.
Yeah, I love that.
Because butterflies, yes, are transformative, but also they break out of that cocoon,
Yes.
right? They come from nothing. They literally break down inside of that cocoon into nothing. And they come out more beautiful and stronger than ever. And that's why I just have butterflies everywhere in my office
Yeah.
and at home. And, that's
I love that. I love that.
so yeah, I've really spent this last year. Let's see, it's almost been 2 years
I
since
know
my
time flies.
diagnosis.
And it's all
Um,
cleared and gone
It's
and
all cleared.
awesome.
I had, let's see, 3 surgeries this last year. It was my thyroid was the first one, and then they did a secondary biopsy surgery in September, and then 5 months ago they did my hysterectomy.
Okay.
And that was another one I had to fight for because women's health
Yes.
in this country
Yes.
is atrocious, but that's another podcast. Yeah, another episode. But I really had to fight for that one. But I feel amazing after that. And so I just feel 100%. And I'm just ready to continue being there for my community and just doing what I do. In that year, I legally changed my name. Althea means healer. Or
I
to
did not know
heal.
that. Okay.
Yep, I chose that specifically.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. When people compliment, I'm like, thanks, I chose it myself. And the process really wasn't that hard. It was just time and
Yeah.
money that it takes,
Yeah.
which not everyone has.
Yeah.
But there are ways to get help financially to change your name. I work with a lot of the LGBTQ plus community,
Okay.
and I hold a queer collective each month down in
I
Tacoma.
love that.
So
awesome.
everyone just gets together, has crafts, brings food,
Fun.
and just like helps people with resources. So yeah. So all in all, my journey, I mean, like I said, it's like you need both,
Yes.
right? We live in this physical realm. So we do need medication and certain things to help us along. I take medication for my mental illness, and it keeps me going. It keeps me, but I also bring in cacao and other plant medicine. And do I tell the doctors about it? No.
Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah. But I just like, they look at my blood work and they're just like, oh, this is great. I'm like, yeah. Yes, it is. So it's really that beautiful mixture. And like I said, there's going to be people on both sides who are telling you you're doing it wrong.
Your entire life, there's always going to be those people.
And there's always going to be those people. And that's why I'm like, I'm not in the mood for gatekeeping. Like, I am too old for this. I have been through too much through this. And I just want to put more good into the world while I'm here. And I don't need someone telling me I'm reading tarot wrong or doing Reiki wrong or taking the wrong medication, Western medication.
Have you ever read the book How to Heal Your Life by Louise Hay? Do you know who Louise Hay
That
is?
sounds familiar.
Oh my
No,
goodness.
I haven't read that one.
That book changed my life. There was a documentary on, I think, Amazon Prime or Netflix called Heal. I got like hundreds of people to watch it, but reading that book just changed everything for me. So definitely check that out. And I
Yeah.
will still, I will still always talk about that book. It is just a game changer
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. There was another documentary. We just watched it. Joe
Oh,
Dispenza.
love
Uh,
him. Yeah, love
yeah, we were
him.
just watching that the other day
Yeah.
when we did a Reiki exchange
Okay.
over in Gig Harbor at
Okay.
Tachibana.
I used to binge
So,
watch Gaia like episode after
yes,
episode,
yeah.
and I go
I
through
think that's when we
spurts.
were watching Gaia.
Yeah, definitely check out How to Heal Your Life. And what I love about
Yeah.
that book, I've actually gifted that book to like probably 20 people because in the back is like a pocket dictionary. So any physical ailment you have, it's, alphabetized and then it'll tell you the trauma behind it and how,
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll say an affirmation on how to heal it. And it's just, oh my gosh, I love that book so much. I'll
Yeah,
send it to you
yeah.
for sure.
No, please do
Yeah.
because I'm all for that kind of
Yeah.
thing. I think for me, unfortunately, with my thyroid, it was too many years.
hmm
I mean, it's 30 plus years of trauma and
So I want to ask you a question. And I mean, we've just started to get to know each other in the
yeah.
past year. Althea does my website, which I'm super grateful for. I don't have to touch it. I just send people her way, anything that needs adjusted. So if you are somebody who needs help with your website, we will put her info below. She is taking on new clients, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So my question was, where were we at with that? I just lost my train of thought. Where were we before I started talking about the website? Shoot.
Talking about books and Joe Dispenza and I was talking about the thyroid. I was like,
Oh,
well, it's
yes,
been
yes.
like 30
Yes, the
years.
thyroid. So to me, I'm still learning and I'm a knowledge seeker. I'm just always wanting to grow and be better and learn. And I don't know a lot of your past, but to me, did you have a problem speaking up growing up, using your voice or feeling like you weren't heard?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I was a born female in the
Mm,
Mormon church
okay.
and I have a lot to say about the Mormon church, but
Yeah.
you know, there wasn't a lot for women to say or do or
So that
be.
might,
Yeah, it definitely was. But like moving forward with my life and being more open and aware of these things,
yeah.
I feel like I can stop more things from
Yes.
happening. I can take better care of my body on that spiritual
Yeah.
level and like I'm going to be more on top of those guides giving me those warning signs because I
hmm
tell everyone's a psychic.
Yes.
Right? Everyone
Yes.
has those
Everyone.
pings in their body that we
It's
just
just
tend
slowing
to
down and listening.
yeah, we just
hmm
tend to ignore. Like I would get ringing in my ear. I'd be like, "Well, that's tinnitus from when my eardrum got burst when I was a kid," you know. And no, it was the spirit guide trying
Oh,
to get my
yeah. My
attention.
ears ring all the time. And then my mom just went through that and she's went to the doctor. And I'm like, Mom, your spirit guides are trying to talk to you. Yeah. But
Yeah.
everybody, not everybody's ready to receive that information. You can
No.
suggest things but oops, gosh, I keep hitting this thing. But yeah. So the
Yeah,
timing will be right for you when it's meant to be.
it's all about divine timing
Yeah.
because I'm where I'm at because divine timing. You know, Heidi approached me about the website because I was getting ready for a 6 week recovery. And I was
Okay.
just like, oh, I'm literally sitting here doing nothing.
I
Please give
literally
me.
manifested Althea. I put it out there and I said, please, universe, send me somebody to do my website because that's something I've learned. I want to do the things that bring me joy and that excite me. And sitting down behind a computer when I'm such a busy bee, I'm zipping all around. I would notice, I would pay attention to my energy. I'd start getting frustrated. I don't know what I'm doing. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to find somebody who loves to do this kind of stuff. And then Heidi comes to me and she's like, hey, my girlfriend Althea. And I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you. And she's been doing it ever since. So
Yeah.
manifesting, I'm telling you.
Honestly, it's like this that Capricorn moon of mine. I have all Gemini in my placements, but Capricorn moon, that's where I just love the
Yeah.
organization.
Yeah.
I love this kind of stuff. It's like
Yeah.
my creative outlet.
Yeah.
So
See,
it's
mine's
been
like
great.
physical, decorating, hands on, but sitting behind a computer, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness.
I love that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, but organization, it's important for me. And it was important for me to keep track of like what I was doing with my
Yeah.
life because we were
Yeah.
sitting for 6 weeks. I mean, because if it wasn't this surgery, it was the other two
Yeah.
surgeries where I had a lot of time to sit and
Yeah.
think.
But when
Um,
you say that's advice to people out there who are going through something similar, like using that time wisely and not just sitting there in your thoughts and allowing that depression.
Yes, absolutely. Because there were so many times, especially right after the diagnosis, when we were just waiting for the surgery, right? Because that's all they could do. They
Yeah.
just, like, and there were so many times where I would just sink. I could feel myself
Spiraling.
spiraling.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, I recognize this pattern. My husband recognized the pattern. And so we just like, people say to me all the time, like, you're so busy. And I'm like, because I would rather be busy and again, bringing something into the world.
Busy in a productive way,
Productive
though.
way.
Yes.
Yeah, not like manic
Yes.
where
Where some people say you're
yeah.
busy all the time, but like, yeah, defining busy.
Well, I in my session with Alex with my human design, I'm a time bender apparently.
Mm.
So I am just meant to be a busy
I'm a
person.
manifesting generator. I
Yeah,
do a million different things, and yep.
I am as well. I'm a
Okay, so
manifesting generator,
yes.
time bender. And so like when people tell me like I'm doing too much or this or that, I just kind of smile to myself and I'm just like, nope, because this is exactly where my life path
But
has
in
me
the
going.
past, we would get shamed for it.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that is something that human design has changed my life so much, like understanding why I am the way I am.
Mhm.
And it's okay for me to move faster than people, skip steps. And that has helped release some of that trauma because I always felt like, oh my gosh, I'm too much for people, So human
Yeah.
design is something I will always advocate for.
Yes, absolutely. I didn't know much about it. I've learned so much.
Yeah.
And divine timing, I met this friend who got me connected to Crescent Moon Gifts in Tacoma.
Okay.
That's where I started the queer collective.
Yeah.
And then that's when they asked me to start reading tarot. And then now I do Reiki sessions there. And so, yeah, and it's just like things like that. I lost friends
Oh,
during my
yeah.
cancer treatment, but I gained new ones. And
I
that
have
was,
talked about that on
yeah,
so many episodes, and that should continuously be a theme in everyone's life because as you expand and level up,
yes.
and the right people will either be with you or they'll fall off and new people will come in. I
Yeah.
feel like I've been through like multiple cycles of losing people and gaining new friends.
Yeah, no, I had a friend who called me out of the blue after like almost a year
Yeah.
and was like, "Oh, hey, Althea, it's really hard to call you." She left a voicemail. It's really hard to call you Althea. And I'm thinking in my head, if that's hard for you,
Mm.
then like, what's the rest of my life gonna be for you?
Not
Because if
like,
you
oh my God, I'm
can't,
so happy for you, this new
right,
journey.
like,
Hmm.
and so just, I don't need those people in
Yeah,
my life. Of course, I
absolutely.
grieved when it happened.
Yeah.
But then I look at where I'm at and I'm like, now I have this great gig in Gig Harbor with Brooke and Taylor at Tetra Meraki. They're a great
Awesome.
space there.
Yeah.
And then I can just like hop up here,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
I'm over. Yeah. So it led me to where I am. And so when people get angry for me about my cancer, I'm just like, I'm not angry
Yeah.
though,
Yeah.
because like this was a growth experience for me. And this was just, it's shaped me into a better person because you can go two ways, right? You can let
Yeah.
it destroy you or you can let it build you up.
I think that brings you back to, things aren't happening to you, they're
Yeah.
happening for you. And I've
Hmm.
mentioned that in several episodes, but I don't have any regrets. I know everything I've been through has gotten me to where I'm at. Yeah.
Yeah, no. And that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Everything's, even growing up in the church, right? As horrible as it was, I still have family and friends that are in the
Yeah.
church that choose to be in there for various reasons, and that's their choice. But for me, I mean, yes, it was awful, but here I am. I'm
Yeah.
still alive. I'm still breathing.
Yeah.
And there's still so much more to me than just that. There's whole human design.
Yeah, and I love bringing people in who have that religious background. I mean, we've had several episodes, and it's a topic that I will want to continuously talk about. And it's not that we're dissing on churches, we're just trying to help expand your mind and open your mind to
Yeah.
something different. And not even something different, like, just how would I word that?
I don't know. Well,
We
I
all
think
believe in the same thing, but religion has put these
yes.
strict, like, rules.
I had a friend, Janelle, who passed away a couple years ago, and she was the reason I actually took yoga teacher training and actually got into Reiki in the first
Okay.
place. And she would always she was a Christian. She believed in Jesus. She also had a trans son who
Mm-hmm.
she loved dearly.
Yeah.
And and we would have conversations after yoga class about all of the things. And I'm like, this is a person who can see the difference between a religion,
Yeah.
which is someone who wants to be in charge and put you in a box,
Yep.
and spirituality. I'm like, you can be a Christian, you can believe in whatever you want to believe, and still have this like beautiful spiritual practice and
Yes.
belief. Like, you don't have to be what they tell you to
Yep.
be.
Yeah.
So you can have
Look
both.
for the answers yourself. That's what I always advise people. Like,
Yeah.
that's something, don't go off what you're told or what you hear. Do your own research, dig in yourself. That's where I found most of my answers.
It's gonna look different for everyone.
Yeah.
It's what I say with Reiki and with tarot as well. When people come to me, I've had tarot readings, people were like, "Oh my gosh, this is life-changing." And other tarot
Mm-hmm.
readings, people were just like, "Eh." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"That's okay. I might not be the reader for you. I can
Yeah.
point you in the direction of another reader who might be
Yeah.
more your style."
Yeah.
Again, it's all about that fit, right? And every body, every person is completely different, and it's not one size fits all. It's,
But I
you know
also don't think people understand this when it comes to tarot readings. And I have to say this, it's not even that you're not a good fit for them. You are the vessel. It's not you reading for that person. You are channeling that person's spirit guides, correct?
Mhm. Yeah.
So that person just may not be ready to receive that information. They're like, no, this doesn't resonate with me. This doesn't make sense. But how do they think you're getting that information? So,
It's true. It's
and
true.
I've seen that happen a lot.
It might be just the way I approach it, right?
Mm,
Because like every person has a different approach. Every person has a different way they word things, right? Some people are manifesting
yeah.
generators. Other people,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't, other people are something else. And so, yeah, it just might be the way it's packaged. It
Yeah.
might be the way it's,
Totally. And that's
yeah.
why I've always had multiple Reiki healers rent rooms for me. Tarot, I say there's no competition here.
Hmm.
And I highly suggest people try them all out and see who is a good fit for you because, yes, but it's not you delivering the information incorrectly or anything. It's just, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it's the approach. Maybe it could be multiple things for
Yeah.
sure.
I'm just never offended,
No, and you shouldn't
if
be.
someone, because I did have that mindset at one point.
Oh, I
Like,
think we all have.
I,
Yeah.
right? I think it was like before cancer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then after cancer, after Guatemala, when I went to Guatemala specifically, and I really saw, like I said, community, this third world country, beautifully working together, peacefully protesting. They were protesting at the time, dancing in the streets, feeding each
Mm.
other. It's so, and I came back home and I was like, oh, we're just so disconnected.
Yeah.
We're so,
People respond or people react versus responding. And yeah.
yeah, we're
Mm.
just always in competition.
Yep.
And we should be
Confrontation.
building each other up and supporting each other and shouting each other out on social media because that's
Yeah.
the age we're in right now. So like it's free to to post someone's thing on social media. It's just like you don't have to have the money to
People ask
support
me all the
people.
time, you promote healers that don't even rent space from you? I'm like, yes, because I believe in what they do and I am
Yeah.
supporting them. Or it's just, yeah, we're all in. I'm not threatened by anybody because I
Yeah.
believe the right people will come here for the right reasons and vice versa.
Yeah, because we're all in this together.
Yeah,
It's a collective, right?
absolutely.
And I think the thing I want people to take away from this
Yeah.
episode in particular is like you might be going through something mentally that you do need help with. And it's okay. It's okay to get that help. It does not make you weaker or less than to go get medication, to go seek therapy. I go to therapy every month.
I love therapy.
I do. I highly recommend it for everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't be afraid to seek that out and also seek out that spiritual healing. Find a
Yes.
fit in both, that work concurrently together. My therapist knows I do Reiki and knows I
Hmm.
do tarot and everything, and he's all on board with it. And that's why I continue to go see him because he supports
Yeah.
my whole healing journey.
And that's how it
Um,
should be.
yeah, absolutely. So, because I think for the longest time, I just felt there wasn't a fit for me because it's like, well, I didn't fit in the Mormon church
Yeah.
and I don't fit into this, I use quotes, the woo world
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't really fit in either. So, like, I had to find my own space for myself because I was told I was too much and I was told I was too much. I wasn't enough. I wasn't this. I
Mhm.
wasn't that. And I was just like, I was really tired of people telling me,
Isn't it so freeing now?
yeah,
I feel so free where I don't get offended by people projecting their own shit onto me, and I'm
yes,
so calm in that sense where I don't argue with people anymore. I'm
yeah,
just like, I get it because of doing the inner work.
yeah, absolutely. I think I'm much less
Yeah.
reactive to things that would used to just like, I would used to just want to stand my ground and just be like,
Or prove.
no, yeah,
Yep.
because it's like you're just proving your own character, your own self-worth. And then at the time I was losing all those friends, I was like, wait, why am I having to put in all this
Mhm.
work to prove that I'm worth something, that I'm
Getting to
worth
that
their
place where you
time?
don't need to prove it, you just know it.
I just know it. And
Yeah.
so the people that are around me now are the people that are that my time is worth,
Yeah.
vice versa. You don't want to pour into a cup that has a hole in it, right? You want to pour in
Mhm.
a cup. Like my therapist says, friendships are kind of transactional. It's energetically transactional because giving and receiving. You
Yeah.
can't just give, you have to receive too.
Yeah.
So as long as all those relationships in your life are equally giving,
And it's
you
a
know?
daily practice too. I definitely daily at the end of the day, I'll go through and be like, where were my highs? Where were my lows? Who was I around
Mm,
that made me feel good? Where did I feel low energy? And you just start dissecting it and weeding things out and
yeah,
bringing new things in. And yeah, this
yeah.
journey is most people think, oh, spiritual butterflies and rainbows and unicorns. I'm like, bitch, if you only knew how much inner work and crying and
I always say the violence it took to make
yeah,
me the healer I am today, it's immense,
yeah.
but
I would do it all over again, and
oh,
now continue to.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Everything I learned where I'm at now in
yeah,
my life, I'm so happy with the support and the beautiful practices I just keep building. And it's just getting better because I'm not
yeah,
doubting myself anymore.
yep,
I'm just putting it all out there and I'm just like, take it or leave it. It's either for you or it's not.
yeah.
And that's it.
So I know we have to wrap up because I gotta open up the shop in like 3 minutes, but, one last question I wanted to ask you. So do you do plant medicine?
For myself, cacao is
Okay,
pretty much the plant medicine I
okay,
take.
okay, which is a heart chakra opener, which is amazing,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
but you haven't dabbled with
I have
anything else?
not dabbled just because there's been a little bit of my guides are like,
Not yet, yeah,
not, yeah,
okay,
I don't know if it ever will be,
okay,
but I am a huge advocate for it
yeah,
because I have many friends
and
who do
seeing
it and I have
yes, the
seen the
transformation.
transformation and I have seen it. So again, it's just like it's really your journey is not going to look like anyone else's
Yeah,
journey. And people ask me all the time. I've been offered several
oh, me
times.
too.
And I say no every time. And I used to feel guilty and I used to be like, well, maybe I should because that peer pressure almost kind of sinking back in. But after a while, I was like, you know what? That's just not part of my journey.
See, I've always resisted it, and everyone around me, I've seen the transformation
Mhm.
in them, and I'm over here like, "Why can't I connect with my higher self?" I'm around people who hear things, see things, all that, and lately, spirit has been coming in hot, saying, "It's time." I've
Mhm.
had multiple people text me, "You need to do plant medicine, like, spirit is trying to crack you open." Then I pull a card, it's just, like, one after the other, so I'm actually really excited in the next 2 weeks, I'm going on a little 3-day retreat with Michael and Tara. And yeah, we're going to journey down
Yeah.
that road. And I am actually ready for it. Before, I think I was not scared, but anxious. And like, I just trusted myself. I wasn't ready for it. But now it's like, I feel calm about it. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to touch on
Yeah.
that like when I get back from there. Cause hello, new Tasha.
And Rita. Well, like I said, it's been great for a lot of people I
Yeah.
know. I've been offered several times, but maybe one day.
Yeah.
But I think just like in 2023, it wasn't that long ago I had cancer.
Yeah.
So it's a hard jump
And
for
you've already
me.
learned and practice how to connect with your higher self and your guides and all of
That's
that.
where the shamanic Reiki
Yeah.
comes in for
Yeah.
sure. That's my dreams.
Yeah.
People are like, I wish I could dream and remember my dreams. I'm like, that is not a problem for me.
Yeah. Yeah. You're with them.
I get lots of messages every day.
Oh, man.
So
Well, any last words or advice you have for our listeners?
just do you.
Yeah.
It's easier said than done, right? Don't pay attention to the people trying to put you in a box.
Hmm.
Pay attention to the people who are leveling up with you. If you're going and they're keeping up with you, pay attention to those people.
And
'Cause
listen
those
to your
are the
body
ones.
when
Listen to
you
your
get the
body.
responses and just where do you feel in your body? And
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
tell my yoga students all the time. And yeah, if it doesn't feel right for you,
Our guts never lie. Our guts
yeah.
know.
Yeah,
For sure.
absolutely.
Well, Althea also has a discount for anyone listening. So if you want to go ahead and mention the discount, we're going to put her contact info listed below.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can find my website,
Yeah.
right? untamedreikiyoga.com. All of my offerings are on there. And if you want to book a shamanic Reiki session with me, that can be half off.
Perfect.
And you can experience shamanic Reiki. Like I said, it's really what opened my eyes to this
Yeah.
whole other world.
Yeah. I'm curious. I want to book a session with you because I've done regular Reiki, Egyptian Reiki. I went and got Reiki 1 and 2 certified. So I'm curious as the shamanic Reiki.
Yeah, I've done some soul retrievals.
Okay.
I've done some cord clearing.
Okay. And I was
It's been
told I was a
really-
shaman in my past life too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely interested in that.
So yeah, if anyone wants to check that out, I'm usually in Gig Harbor or Tacoma. Those are my 2 places that I bounce around. I do have a home office, but that's
Yeah.
South Hip Puyallup.
Okay.
And that's a little far from here.
And she can and will do Zoom also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Distant Reiki. So
Yeah, absolutely.
awesome. Well,
So,
thank you
yeah.
so much, Althea, for coming on and sharing your story with
no,
us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. We will see you all soon.